How's it going? How's it going? How's it going, YouTube? I've prepared a special video for you today. I was thinking recently about how expensive things can get, especially technology side, when you're an artist, a filmmaker, or a content creator. And a lot of times, people think that you have to buy the most expensive things that are pre-made. And that's not necessarily the case. A lot of people resort to Apple when it comes to content creation because they feel it's the best creatively. I tend to disagree. But that's the subject of a different video. I'm not doing that today. Today I'm going to show you how you can build your very own computer. I've handpicked every single component to a PC that you will need to build a powerful content creation machine. Whether it be for the Adobe Creative Suite, for animation, or video editing. Now this I'm very excited and happy about, and I'm going to be posting the list of parts one by one, so you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want, because maybe you want a different part. I don't know, but I've shopped personally on Amazon and put together this list of some relatively inexpensive parts for what they're doing. And I didn't go all cheapo, because you can go crazy cheap when it comes to these parts, but not all of them are high functioning. Like you want to select parts that will last for years to come, and also give you the wiggle room for some upgrades in the near future. Keep in mind that this list doesn't contain the absolute best parts you can find. No, it contains the best for the price parts you can find that will get you where you need to be, but without going crazy over budget. And so today's budget is $750. Now that's still a lot of money, but for what this computer can do, it's not bad. In fact, there are computers twice the price that this computer would give a run for its money. So let's begin. Let's take a look at some of the parts that I've selected today. First off, we're going to look at the AMD Ryzen 1300X. This is a fantastic CPU. These just came out in the summer of 2017, so just a few months ago, or about half a year ago they came out, and they are an absolute beast. AMD has always been a little bit more on the budget side of things, but that is not because they're worse. They tend to be more for the enthusiasts because they are typically power-hungry CPUs. However, Ryzen shook things up, and this is a much better competitor to Intel's line. So I chose this Ryzen in particular because the Ryzen 3, while it's still at being the bottom of the Ryzens, it's still a beast of a computer. It's all quad-core. It's overclockable up to 3.9 gigahertz. And it's $20 more than its smaller 1200 series. But for $20 more, it is a little bit faster, and I definitely think it's worth it. And it has a really large 10 megabyte total cache. This thing is crazy good for the $129.99 price tag. I'm a big fan. I built a computer with it myself, and not only that, they are unrivaled when it comes to their multitasking capabilities. It's truly a good CPU, especially for the budget side of things. Next, a little less exciting but still important, is the Western Digital Blue 1TB SATA 6GB a second, 7200 RPM hard drive. Now, a lot of people have the SSD argument, and I do have one on this list. I think it's important to have an SSD as a boot drive, but for max storage, you do need a regular hard drive, because when you're working in media, there's so many files that are just so huge that you would completely break the bank if all of it was on a solid-state drive. So you need to have a hard drive to store all your extra files on, and 1 terabyte is a good place to start. And for $48.99, not bad. I have this drive myself in my own rig, and it's plenty fast for a regular hard drive, and it's a good place to start. Next up is the power supply. This is one place that doesn't get good attention because a lot of times people go for the really cheap ones, and that is not a good idea. While you can definitely do cheaper than 4731, which is already pretty low when it comes to a power supply, you're not going to get the 80 plus gold, which is what guarantees that it's more reliable. It's a much better place to go from. And 500 watts is more than what you would need to power this system. It's an excellent place to start from. It's more than enough for what you need. And it's still at a good price range where you're not going to break the bank. And now this is where you have to be more selective. When it comes to a motherboard, you want to make sure that it's not only future-proof for the next few years to come, but it's going to be able to support all the parts that you have on it. Now, I could have gone for a micro ATX form factor, which I've done in my own rig, but in order to fit things in the future, I thought for this list, I'm going to put a regular ATX motherboard. Now the Asus Prime, I love Asus as a brand. They're really good. They have some nice features on it. While this one in particular isn't insanely feature rich for the more enthusiast level side of it, it is definitely more than you will ever need in the budget side of things. So I definitely put that on this list for that reason. Okay, so not only does this support the RYZEN systems, it takes DDR4 memory, which is really good, but also not only that, it has 4 slots of it. So if you want to upgrade in the future and just pop in a little bit more at a time, it's totally doable. Another reason why I chose the regular ATX form factor is that because with micro ATX, sometimes this cooler right around here, where the CPU goes, the cooler that goes on top, unless you get a third-party cooler, rather than the one that comes with the CPU, a lot of times it kind of blocks some of those RAM slots, and I've had that happen in mine, and it's a little annoying because it gets kind of cramped. So I figured with the regular ATX form factor, you might lose that problem. So on the back you can see an Ethernet port, your audio jacks, 6 USB 3s, 2 USB 2s, which is really honestly there more for like the wireless mouse and wireless keyboard, because you don't need to use up a USB 3 for that. The PCIe slot, which we will get into a little bit later. Next up on this list is where things start to get a little pricey. We have the Kingston HyperX Fury 16 gigabytes. That's 2 8 gigabyte cards. These two sticks themselves aren't the fastest, but they are fast enough. At the price of $147.99, that's around $150. This price goes up and down. When I built my computer, the price was a bit lower, but at the same time, I really believe for a productivity computer, you need to have at least 16 gigabytes. 8 gigabytes is okay for some things, but when you really want to use it for work, you really do need to get up to the 16 gig mark in order to be able to handle all those heavy tasks. So that's why I think it's worth spending the money on the extra RAM. But however, if you did feel that only 8 gigabytes is what you need, then go for it. You can always upgrade later. Now this one I think is very important, and is also going to be changing in price dramatically as of January 11th, 2018. The price for an MSI video card, the GTX 1050 Ti, it's $170. I spent less on mine a few months ago, but because of stinking Bitcoin mining, it's going to be going up and down quite a bit until that craze is gone. But for a video card, the 1050 Ti is definitely the sweet spot when it comes to graphic cards. I absolutely love it. I have it myself. It's not only good for productivity and video card rendering for your videos or even animation or 3D modeling, it's also an excellent card for, obviously, video games. I can run most games on ultra settings and get very playable frame rates. For a lot of the really high-end games, you're going to be around the 40 frames to 50 to 60 frames, which a lot of screens can't really go over 60 anyway, so I think it's pretty great. The next part is choosing the case. Now, There's obviously a lot of leeway when it comes to this, but I chose this not only because Amazon chose it, but because for the price, it's actually a really good case. Not only does it have the 4mm tempered glass on the side, also, unlike most cases, you can put the power supply at the bottom, which not only helps with being able to work around things a little bit better, it can make the cable management a little bit easier too. And Cooler Master is a pretty good brand. A lot of people love this case. It's easy to work with. It's nothing too fancy, but it's pretty nice to be able to have the window on the side. Not only that, you can also customize some of the trim colors. And if you look up here, you have your audio, microphone jacks, the power button, a USB 3 and a USB 2. Last but not least is the Kingston 120GB SSD. I have this SSD myself. I use it as my boot drive. If you don't have the money to spend on a massive SSD, which I don't think is even necessary anymore, definitely go with this drive. It's enough to be able to load up Windows and even some key programs so that they boot almost instantly. From the time I press the power button to the time I'm putting in the password, only about 10 seconds have passed. It is crucial if you want that speed. However, if you're not feeling it and if that's not important to you, you can feel free to take this off the list and drop the $750 price tag down to $700. So there you have it, guys. For $750 or $700, if you drop the SSD, you can have a crazy good computer. One that you can compare easily to computers twice the price that you would buy in the stores. I'm putting the links to all the parts I just mentioned into the description. If you're excited about what you saw and want to buy some of them, go right ahead. I made that easy for you. And I'm going to be doing a few more videos like this for different price ranges and for different uses, because there isn't one computer that's for everyone. There definitely are some that are great all-around computers, and that one is definitely a great all-around computer, but sometimes you need things in different price ranges. I might do one a little bit lower budget for specific uses like Photoshop, and I'm definitely planning on doing a few videos about different laptops you can buy that are key for what you need them for. I use computers every day. I've been using them since I was like 6 years old. I've learned my way around them pretty well and know that there's different things you need for them. So that's the first video in the series. I hope you liked it. If you agree with everything that's on this list, hit that like button, share it with others. If you're interested in buying something from that list, I put all of the links in the description. I definitely hope to see you in the next few videos. If you like what you saw, you can always subscribe. Alright everyone, that is it. I am taking off. I am sick. I have to go take care of this cold. Attractive. I hope you all have amazing days and take care.